looking to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines. Indonesians were told on Monday to brace for more heavy downpours after record rains triggered flooding and landslides that authorities said had killed at least 66 people in and around Jakarta. An Indonesian caught trying to sell the skin of a critically endangered Sumatran tiger has been arrested, police said Monday, highlighting the problem of animal trafficking in the Southeast Asian country. A medical clinic in Bangkok opened Monday offering free cannabis oil to hundreds of Thais seeking relief from cancer, insomnia, and muscle pain as the government drives home the economic and health benefits of their gamble of marijuana. Indonesians were told on Monday to brace for more heavy downpours after record rains triggered flooding and landslides that authorities said had killed at least 66 people in and around Jakarta. Whole neighborhoods in the capital, a megalopolis home to around 30 million people, were submerged last week by floodwaters that forced tens of thousands into temporary shelters. Authorities have warned residents to take precautions and safeguard their possessions ahead of more pounding storms over the coming weeks. There is still potential for mid to heavy rainfall with lightning, thunder, and strong winds in the greater Jakarta, Indonesia's Weather Bureau said in a statement Monday. Last week's deluge was the heaviest in the capital since record-keeping began in the 19th century, the agency said, leading to the city's deadliest flood disaster in years. Some 377 millimeters or 14.8 inches of rain pounded sections of the vast city, with floodwaters reaching up to the second floor of some buildings after rivers overflowed. At least 2 people in Jakarta's west were hospitalized on Monday after the collapse of a 5-story building, which Indonesia's search and rescue agency said may have been caused by a buildup of rainwater. Authorities said Monday the death toll had climbed again to 66, with 2 more reportedly missing in Lebak, west of the capital. Flash flooding killed more than half a dozen people in Lebak, including a 7-year-old boy who was reportedly swept away by the water. Thousands remained in cramped Jakarta shelters Monday as authorities pushed to reach isolated communities outside the city affected by the disaster. A day earlier, health workers and soldiers sprayed ravaged parts of the capital with disinfectant in a bid to prevent disease outbreaks. An Indonesian caught trying to sell the skin of a critically endangered Sumatran tiger has been arrested, police said Monday, highlighting the problem of animal trafficking in the Southeast Asian country. Authorities in Aceh at the northern tip of Sumatra Island arrested the man last week after he offered to sell the skin to an undercover officer posing as a buyer for 90 million rupiah or $6,500. Police, who confiscated the tiger's skull as well as some bones and teeth, said they were also hunting another man who allegedly supplied the animal's parts to the suspect. A veterinarian at Aceh's conservation agency, Taing Lubis, said they estimated that the tiger had been dead for about 3 months, adding the male tiger was about 8 years old. Lubis said they think it died from stabbing. Its neck bones were also fractured.
Dari jenis kelamin ini umurnya sekitar 88 tahun, masih muda nih, agak-agak nggak tua kali. Dan jenis kelaminnya jantan. Lengkap, taring lengkap, insisinya lengkap, gerahamnya lengkap, mandibulanya hilang.
Selanjutnya
dan tulang tengkoraknya itu patah ininya. Jadi kita tidak bisa menyatukan antara gigi dengan tulang itu karena ininya udah rusak. Lengkap ya.
The arrest comes after police in another part of Sumatra last month arrested several suspected poachers caught with the skin of a Sumatran tiger and 4 fetuses. Poaching is responsible for almost 80% of Sumatran tiger deaths, according to Traffic, a global wildlife trade monitoring network. Sumatran tigers are considered critically endangered by protection group the International Union for Conservation of Nature, with fewer than 400 believed to remain in the wild. An Indonesian student described as Britain's most prolific rapist was jailed for life on Monday for a catalog of sex offenses on unsuspecting men he drugged and assaulted. Manchester Crown Court in northwest England was told Reynard Sinaga may have attacked as many as 195 men, luring them into his flat with the offer of a place to stay or alcohol. Judge Suzanne Goddard described the 36-year-old from Indonesia's Jambi province as an evil sexual predator who preyed on drunken young men on nights out. He is thought to have used sedatives to render his victims unconscious before filming the attacks. Most knew nothing about the assaults. He was caught only when one victim woke up. Sinaga was convicted of 159 offenses, including 136 rapes and 8 attempted rapes at 4 separate trials, according to the Crown Prosecution Service. The first trial began in June 2018. The last ended last December. None could be reported until restrictions imposed to avoid prejudicing juries were lifted on Monday. The CPS said Sinaga was suspected of attacking scores more men since he moved to Britain in 2007, calling him the worst known sex offender in the country's history. The Deputy Chief Crown Prosecutor for Northwest England, Ian Rushton, said Reynard Sinaga is the most prolific rapist in British legal history. The fugitive Malaysian financier at the center of a multi-billion-dollar corruption scandal insisted he had not led the plundering of 1MDB fund, a report said Monday. Low Taek Jo, commonly known as Joe Low, has been charged in Malaysia and the U.S. for allegedly playing a major role in the theft of billions of dollars from sovereign wealth fund One Malaysia Development Berhad. Looted money was used to buy everything from a super yacht to art in a fraud that allegedly involved former leader Najib Razak and contributed to his government's downfall in 2018. In a rare interview, Low told Singapore Straits Times newspaper that he was an intermediary who was sought after due to his good relationships with influential foreign businessmen and decision makers. The financier said the idea that he is some kind of mastermind is just wrong, who acted as an unofficial advisor to 1MDB. The 38-year-old, who consistently denies wrongdoing over the scandal, said various institutions, bankers, and lawyers had also worked with the fund in email responses to the paper. He said the inordinate amount of media scrutiny on him compared to that placed on the global financial and other institutions and advisors that actually organized and facilitated the fundraising at issue is outstanding. More news when ASEAN in Focus returns.
Net25 is now available on OSN, the largest entertainment network in the Middle East and North Africa.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN Channel 725, same day as the Philippines.
Net25 shows live and on demand anytime, anywhere,
on any mobile device on OSN Play.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Accurate and fair reporting. Not only from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, but also abroad. Detailed and timely stories relevant to people all over the world. Catch all of these at Net25, your reliable source of news, entertainment, and technology updates.
Welcome back. The family of a Franco-Irish teenager whose body was found in the Malaysian jungle are suing the resort from where she disappeared for allegedly failing to provide adequate security. The unclothed body of 15-year-old Nora Quayreen was discovered in August after a massive hunt through dense rainforest not far from the resort where the London-based family had been on holiday. Her parents say they believe there was a criminal element in the case as the teen had learning difficulties and would not have wandered off alone, but Malaysian police insist there was no sign of foul play. The family's lawyers have filed a civil suit against the Dusun resort not far from the capital Kuala Lumpur, seeking at least 182,000 ringgit or $45,000 in damages, according to court documents seen by AFP Monday. The couple, Mayab and Sebastian Quayreen, claim the entrance gate to their jungle cottage was left open at all times. No guards were stationed outside and there was no CCTV installed at the premises. They also say the latch of a window was broken and it could be easily opened by anyone from outside. The teen's parents argue that her disappearance and death were caused directly by the defendant's negligence and/or recklessness, the document said. They are seeking damages for bereavement, funeral expenses, and other costs, as well as any other damages as assessed by the court. A representative from the resort told the official Bernama news agency their legal team were examining the suit. The teen disappeared on August 4, a day after arriving at the Dusun, triggering a 10-day hunt involving hundreds of people, helicopters, and sniffer dogs. The results of an autopsy found she likely starved and died of internal bleeding, with police saying there was no indication she was abducted or sexually assaulted. But her parents said last month they still suspect foul play. Increases in prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages and transport further accelerated the country's headline inflation to 2.5% in December, bringing the full-year figure to 2.5%. Last year's inflation settled within the government's target of 2 to 4% for 2019. In a press briefing Tuesday, Philippine Statistics Authority's Deputy National Statistician Rosalinda Bautista attributed the upward trend in December 2019 mainly to increment recorded in the heavily weighted food and non-alcoholic beverages index, particularly fish, vegetables, and meat. Bautista said the supply of vegetables was affected by the onslaught of typhoons Tisoy and Ursula, while rice prices have been decreasing for 8 months until last month. She said, quote, "It's because of the effect of the weight of food in the consumer price index basket. If we look at the weight of food, it is 38.34%, whereas transport is 8.06%. If you look at specifically petroleum, its weight is 2.02%. The increment in transport index and alcoholic beverages and tobacco also pushed up the overall inflation in December." She added that a slower annual markup was noted in health index, while other 5 commodity groups retained their rates: clothing and footwear, communication, recreation and culture, education and restaurant, and miscellaneous goods and services. Inflation rose further in the National Capital Region and areas outside the National Capital Region last month. She also said Bicol region recorded the highest inflation among the regions, attributing the higher food prices to the impact of Typhoon Tisoy. The Department of Agriculture has created a unit that will craft and implement a build program for the farm sector to improve rural productivity and increase the income of local planters. The Office of the Undersecretary for Regulations will be headed by former Raja Baoyan Mayor Zamzamin El Ampatuan, who was appointed by President Duterte as Agriculture Undersecretary on December 3. Ampatuan replaced Segfredo R. Serrano, who retired earlier this year, according to his appointment papers released by Malacanang. He will spearhead the DA's BBB program for agriculture, which Agriculture Secretary William D. Dar said is crucial for the department's agri-industrialization strategy. On December 18, Dar issued Special Order 1140, officially designating Ampatuan as the DA's Undersecretary for Regulations. Through SO 1140, Dar removed and separated from the Office of the Undersecretary for Policy and Planning, Project Developments, Research and Regulations, the functional responsibility and oversight on regulations. Dar told the Business Mirror that he created the Office of the Undersecretary for Regulations to help the government achieve sustainable development and to focus on the DA's farm infrastructure push. The DA is targeting to expand farm output by 2% in 2020, 3% in 2021, and 4% in 2022. Under the SO, Ampatuan, who is a civil engineer by profession, is tasked to pursue the generation of ideas and plans for build in agriculture. He shall also perform oversight function on the regulatory roles and functions of the attached agencies and bureaus under the Department of Agriculture. Ampatuan is tasked to advise and provide regular reports to DAR on regulatory matters under the jurisdiction of the DA agencies. He must ensure the strict compliance and enforcement of the various laws, policies, and regulatory standards to improve the quality and safety of Philippine agriculture and food products. Ampatuan took his oath of office before DAR last December 16. In a Facebook post on the same day, Ampatuan thanked Duterte for appointing him as Agriculture Undersecretary. Stay tuned. ASEAN in Focus. We'll be right back.
Soccer, the world's favorite sport. And it's no wonder. Spectacular goals. And plenty of emotion. The best of game day. Kickoff.
Events happen around us all the time. In our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eager news, because we live in interesting times.
Welcome back. A medical clinic in Bangkok opened Monday offering free cannabis oil to hundreds of Thais seeking relief from cancer, insomnia, and muscle pain as the government drives home the economic and health benefits of their gamble of marijuana. Watch this.
บัตรอ๋อเดี๋ยวติดต่อรับจุดนั้นที่นี่ได้เลย
brain cancer. If you treat with chemotherapy alone, the patient will live about 12 months. But if you combine cannabis, they extend to 18 months. So it means that 150% the patient live longer and live happier.
ถ้าหากว่ามันรักษาได้ผลก็ไปทางเลือกที่ดีมากเพราะว่ามันก็ทางเลือกอื่นมันอาจจะเจ็บตัวมากกว่าหรืออะไรเงี้ยอันนี้ก็อาจจะดีกว่าถ้ารักษาหายนะ
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1 with 25.
Now in its 51st year, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation has held various child care and development programs. With the support of participating organizations and sponsors, EBC conducted the following activities: